Right, right. What I've got here is I have two of the new Wells ARP9 or PDW9, whatever you want to call it. So I'm going to quickly run through what I'm going to do with these, what I have done or what I am doing. Just quickly, just want to show you these little cool little rail covers that I got from I think it is a Customs in United States of America. So yeah, they're pretty cool. Just add a different kind of look to the blaster, something different. I'm always looking for something different, so pretty impressed with those. I think they're pretty cool, especially because I've named that Warthog. So you know the A10 Warthogs do have that tiger or shark face on them, so that's not bad. What else have I done? I did my mask, my lower mask. Gave that a bit of a paint. I think that's come up not too bad at all. So going for the kind of blood splatter look. Okay, so the Wells PDW or the ARP9. So this one here was brought to me last Friday by Richard, who runs Gel Blaster forums. Now, if you haven't been to Gel Blaster forums, I suggest you have a nosy. There's a lot of information, a lot of good topics on it, etc., on there. It's worthwhile having a look. I'm sure you'll spend a couple of hours browsing those forums once you actually go and have a look. So he brought me his ARP9 that he had just brought. He'd also brought over a CNC MK V2 box. This is the older style box. So he did have to make a couple of minor modifications to get that gearbox to fit into this receiver, but once you get it in, it lines up really good. So I guess I'll show you the differences between the old V2 gearbox. So you'll notice the nose here, see this part here? So the profile is different on the newer ones, and also the older ones, they're a millimeter shorter on this point, but the newer ones, and I have one here, you'll notice that the profile at the front of the nose there, it's different. So I managed to get this one to just drop straight into the Wells ARP9 with no mods. It just drops straight in, and these ones have an extra millimeter added to this part here, so there's no gap in between your grip, your pistol grip, and the gearbox once it's in the lower receiver. So that's really good. Anyway, it does have a different type of mag. So as you can see there, the mag terminals for the mag are on the back of the magazine, which means that when it feeds up into the lower receiver, the mag terminals are on the back of the mag well here. It's not exactly the easiest thing to see. And what you end up with is a little piece of plastic with two little mag terminals right there. So if you can see that. Now what I've managed to do is not run a mag plate on the gearbox. I've soldered directly to this little piece, which actually pops out, and then I've just run a bit of vinyl, a vinyl sticker along the bottom edge there, just so it doesn't touch the gearbox at all. And I've had it running in both of these two blasters with no issues. So that's an option for you, because I know there's no mag terminal plate out yet. So that it's an easy way to work around putting the V2 into the Wells ARP9. Okay, with the one that Richard dropped off, what I've done is I put some SHS 13:1 gears in, SHS piston head. It's just got a green O-ring. There's no MOSFET. It's just running the factory loom that came in the factory Wells gearbox. So that is doing, it's doing around, I think it's doing around 260, 280 FPS. I can't really remember. somewhere around there, but it's doing about 27 rounds per second with the factory motor. So I just put a metal pinion on the factory motor, and we've just been running it like that for testing. I think he's planning on upgrading the motor, and maybe he'll chuck a MOSFET in there later on. But anyway, we just did this one to get up and running. Something that I do really like about this over the HLF and the XYL is this is the T-piece that comes in the Wells ARP9, and this is the front of the V2 gearbox. There's a little lip here, and that little lip sits just inside the gearbox. So you have really good alignment. You can get really good alignment between the front of the gearbox, the nozzle, and the T-piece. As you know, some of the other T-pieces, they don't have that little lip there. Gen 9s do. The Gen 9 style T-piece does, so that fits in front of a H92 really nicely. This does. Fighting Bro and those red T-pieces do, but a lot of the other ones, and I'm not a fan of them at all. Here's one here. I think the manufacturer of that one is LDT or LTD. I can't remember. But you don't have that little lip on the edge, so I mean that T-piece can just kind of like sit slightly off center in any direction, which I am not a fan of at all. So pretty much if I see anything with that kind of T-piece, I just throw it away. I don't even waste my time. But this, that is beautiful. So I think achieving high rate of fire builds in this blaster with this gearbox, this T-piece, I think is very achievable. Very achievable. So that's hence why I have bought my own ARP9. So I was quite impressed. Not with all the aesthetics of it. Some of the aesthetics I don't like, but the overall package, I think there's a lot of more pros than there is cons, because you can easily change the look of the blaster. That's very easy. Now, some of the things I really like is you can actually utilize the quick spring change on this, which I know you could do with the Wells M4. Now you can do it with the Wells PDW or ARP9. So that is a pretty good, handy little function there. And also the buffer tube. I really like the way the buffer tube comes apart to install the battery. So you just pop that down, and that whole lower section just pops off. So you've got a lot more room in there to manage your wires and battery. I think that's a really good idea. Really not a fan of the way they've done the lower receiver in the front of the mag well there, but you know, it's not that big a deal. I'm not really a fan of the front handguard, but again, not that big a deal. This is my one here. So as you can see, I've already started to fit one of my DSG gearboxes in here. So I will do some demos of Richard's one here, and then I'll have this one up and running, and we'll do some demos of this one up and running. So just really quick on this, like I said before, SHS piston, SHS piston head. The AOE correction is done between the piston and the piston head. It is running, I think this is a 60% cylinder. I've got a V2 cylinder head, a V2 nozzle, slightly modified, and it's using the a Wells rubber tip there, just on this particular build. That's pretty much it.